Welcome back to This Week in Ames. I'm Tony Ugolini, and today we check in with the police department. My guest today is Eric Snyder, the Community Resource Officer for the Police Department. Thanks for being on the show, Eric.
Thank you.
So, how long have you been the CRO, and what does the CRO do for the police department in the community?
I've been officially the CRO for almost a year. I filled in for the position for a short time before that. The CRO does a lot of things, primarily outreach to a lot of different groups, but I also act as a liaison for neighborhood groups, any concerned citizen who has an issue that maybe is going to take a little more time or other city departments to be involved to fix. I can kind of help coordinate that response to help get their solution, even if it doesn't end up being in the police department. Part
of the CRO's duties is to outreach. So what examples of outreach do you do?
We do a lot of different small events throughout the community. We also do larger events, like our National Night Out event every fall. The first Tuesday in August, it's a national event. It's a huge event. We invite a lot of people, try to get as much of the community together as we can. And then everywhere in between that, we have our annual spring campaign, Carving with Cops. We do a lot of different programs with the Boys and Girls Club. And then any other thing that we can do out in the community, depending on the news of the day or situations in Ames. For example, traffic safety, Bike Walk Drive Smart is one that we came up with this last spring. We have different initiatives like that come up as well.
Do you have a favorite outreach that you do?
Probably the Boys and Girls Club. It's just fun. Being a kid again, I get to go down there and play dodgeball and run around and play games and tag and things like that with the kids.
At the end of the month, we have Halloween coming up. So what are some tips that you can give the trick-or-treaters out there?
Trick-or-treating is a fantastic, fun event. I always loved trick-or-treating as a kid. In Ames, it's a little bit different than the small town that I came from because there's a lot of traffic, there's a lot of new residents, maybe people that haven't been here for very long or don't know the streets very well. So ultimately, safety is the biggest concern. Just making sure that the kids and their parents are looking out for potential danger. We try to get as much information as we can out to potential drivers to tell them to look out for families as they're out trick-or-treating. But ultimately, being defensive as a trick-or-treater and a parent of a trick-or-treater is important. So, bright reflective costumes or reflective tape on bags or costumes. I always loved wearing a mask when I was a kid, but masks limit how far you can see. I remember having to lift the mask up and walk down and try to figure out where I was going. So maybe face paint instead of a mask, and then just making sure you're looking for vehicles, other pedestrians, bicyclists, all the modes of transportation we have here in town, and then make eye contact with people before you cross an intersection. Parents can really do a lot by keeping close attention on their kids, keep their kids within arm's reach, and just slow down and enjoy it.
Okay. For the last few years, there's been a Campus Town Safety Walk. What is that, and what do you get out of that?
So we do various safety walks from time to time. The Campus Town Safety Walk is probably the one that we've done the most consistently. Ultimately, what we do is we bring in different groups, from student groups to neighborhood groups to city staff, to all walk through different areas in Campus Town, from the traditional Campus Town, Welch and Chamberlain, you would think of, all the way over to Beach, and as far south, I believe, as Storm. And we walk through those areas and look for streetlights out, overgrown trees, sidewalks that may be in disrepair, that could be a trip hazard, things like that, just to try to identify the problems that could be fixed to stop a potential danger.
So is that everybody? Anybody could do that? Or?
Anybody can do it, yep. We invite everybody. We generally invite those groups that would likely be interested, but we'll take anybody that would like to come and just improve the safety in that area.
Awesome, okay. So you mentioned the Bike Walk Drive campaign earlier. Can you talk about that a little bit?
Sure. The campaign was launched in the spring, and it was our way of trying to deal with transportation safety issues. So Ames was not exactly designed for all of the different modes of transportation that we have, and increasing infrastructure is expensive, and it's difficult to do with the structure of our city sometimes. So we're looking at creative solutions that sometimes take time and money. So the police department tried to find a creative way to deal with some of these issues to increase safety. So Bike Walk Drive Smart is a campaign meant to increase safety through respect. So we focus on the behaviors of transportation, not so much breach the infrastructure or the laws or anything like that. We touch on some of those things, but mostly it's the behaviors. So just respecting your fellow travelers. All the modes of transportation are equal. They all have their part. They all have their roles. A lot of people get upset with bicycles on the street and say bicycles don't belong on the street. Bicycles have just as much right to be on the street as a vehicle.
Yeah.
It's just a matter of each mode respecting each other and following what the rules are so that everybody is safer.
And do you go and speak about this and stuff like that?
Sure. We get out into the community as often as we can. We update the website regularly. We go out and do presentations. I have a presentation that I'll do for any group that would like. I've done a couple for larger groups here in Ames, smaller groups as well. Anybody that wants to hear more about the program and really hear the different things that they can do to increase safety, I think it is a beneficial program. It is a little bit outside the box of what most people would normally think. It's not as simple as just saying follow the rules.
Yeah.
But it is as simple as just looking inside yourself and asking how would I want to be treated if I was the one on the other side. And if you do that, you can increase safety.
Yeah, that sounds like a great campaign. Well, thank you for being on the show with us today.
Thank you.
If you would like more information on how you can bike, walk, or drive smart, be sure to check our website at cityofames.org/BWDsmart. And as we mentioned earlier, Halloween is coming up, and recommended hours for trick-or-treating in Ames is 5:30 to 7:30 on October 31st. So that's all for this week. Be sure to tune in next week for This Week in Ames.